morning and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to make apple cake. To start with, line a 7 or 8 inch cake tin. The ingredients you're going to need are 2 apples, 2 eggs, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, 120 millilitres of vegetable oil, 120 millilitres of Greek yoghurt, 210 grams of plain flour, 150 grams of caster sugar, and then half a teaspoon of bicarbonate and 2 teaspoons of baking powder. For the cake topping, you're going to need a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, 50 grams of caster sugar or brown soft sugar, and a tablespoon of butter. To drizzle on top, icing sugar and a little tablespoon of milk. Preheat your oven to 180 degrees, gas mark 4. First of all, into your mixing bowl, add all your dry ingredients. So that's your flour, your sugar, your 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and your half a teaspoon of bicarbonate. Give that all a good stir together. And then we're going to move on to our wet ingredients. Into my oil, I'm going to spoon in my yoghurt, and then my teaspoon of vanilla essence, and then I'm going to crack in my 2 eggs. Next, using a whisk, mix all the ingredients together. You need to break up the eggs. So now I'm ready to add my wet mixture to my dry mixture. So just pour it in, scrape out as much as you can, don't waste any. You can use either 2 or 1. I like it really appley, so I'm going to add 2. Using a peeler, peel the apple. Now we need to core our apple, and to do that I'm going to just chop the base off, so we've got a nice flat base for the apple. And then I'm going to, about 5 millimeters to one side of the apple, I'm going to cut straight down to the bottom. Then I'm going to use this flat base to hold the apple down, and again try to cut to one side, and then again turn it over 5 millimeters away from the edge, and the last one, and then you've got your core of your apple all taken out. Next we're going to cut the apple into chunks, so use the claw and then cut it into about centimetre size pieces, and then when you've done that, turn it around the other way, use the claw again and slice into pieces. Repeat that process with all of your pieces of apple, so in one way and then the other. Into your cake mix, add your apple chunks and give it a quick stir in. Then put your mixture into your cake tin. So in my bowl I've got some light brown caster sugar. You just use normal caster sugar, and into there I'm going to add my teaspoon of cinnamon. Stir that together well, and to that I'm going to add my tablespoon of butter. To break it up even more, use a fork and just fork the mixture together. So here's my cinnamon topping all ready to go onto the top of my apple cake, and what you need to do is just break little pieces off and top your apple cake. Right, that's my cake topped now, ready to go into the oven for around 35 minutes. Whilst it's cooking, don't be tempted to open that oven door because it'll go flat, even though it smells delicious and you just want to have a look. Okay, I've taken my apple cake out of the oven. Now the apple in there is sizzling hot, so don't try taking it out of the tin and putting it on the cooling rack for about 15 minutes. Okay, when you take your apple cake out, leave it to cool for a while. Now we can put a topping on. We can make a drizzle out of a tablespoon of milk and 30 grams of icing sugar, or we could just sprinkle with icing sugar or eat it as it is. So for my cake, I've made a drizzle out of milk and icing sugar. It should pour off of your spoon like so. There you have it, a yummy apple and cinnamon cake ready for the weekend.